Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to another episode here on the Life Signatures Radio. This is a daily show, and on this show, we talk about purpose, productivity, and resilience. Three incredibly important pillars of our lives, and we've been discussing this for quite a while now. In fact, over the past 10, 20 or so episodes, I've been talking about a subject matter that is close to my heart, and this is about getting out of a slump, getting out of a lull of purpose. You might be a big visionary. You had a dream. Maybe it's 10 years down the line and the dream hasn't happened. It hasn't materialized. And what happens is that you get into a slump. You give up. You get into this, fatigue, this disillusionment. And we are talking about that stuff. We're talking about how you can be able to circumnavigate that stuff, especially if you are a visionary. Sometimes these things happen when you already have been doing your purpose. I'm not talking about things that happen at the beginning of purpose. I'm not talking about the hurdles that you've got to overcome at the beginning. I'm talking about the hurdles that you've got to overcome way in between the purpose pursuit. Some people leave their purpose altogether. They stop doing what they were supposed to do altogether because of things that normally happen. And that's what we're discussing. We talked about drifting away from it. Then we talked about the disillusionment that you get, the purpose hangover that you get, and we looked at the causes of the hangover. Now we're looking at the solutions. What are some of the things you can be able to do to solve the purpose disillusionment? Let us continue today with one. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So let us do a recap here so that we can understand where exactly it is that we've come from. And even as I do this recap, I want you to know that the recap is tiny as far as this is concerned. You can go back to the original episodes that we did and listen to them in their entirety. But the recap can also help you. Number one, learn to reframe your story from failure to learning experience. From it's over to it is a season, things like that. Reframe the story, refine and say the story in a different way. Number two, force yourself to take a diagnostic pause. Don't let the purpose itself push you against the wall where you cannot respond, you cannot do anything, you just become incapacitated and paralyzed by it. But notice the signals, notice the red flags, and say, okay, I'm raising my white flag. The next 21 days I'm doing nothing about this thing. Even if it's the next 1 year, I'm doing nothing about this thing, going away from this. And you know that you're going to come back. You're doing it because you know you're going to come back. That's why it's called a diagnostic pause. 3, learn to balance between putting food on the table and pursuing the purpose. At some point in time, you will need to grapple with putting food on the table with means that are not necessarily tied on to your purpose pursuit. Learn to embrace that. 4, reconnect with the original why. Why did you begin it in the first place? Sometimes we get into a slump because we are chasing rabbits. We get into the process, we're chasing the process, we're so much immersed in the process, we forget the why. It's kind of like strategic, tactical, and operational. The guys who are on the operational level are doing day by day. The guys who are on the tactical level are doing it 4 months at a time. The guys who are at the strategic level are doing it at a longer period of time, 10 years, 20 years, forever. And you get yourself into this operational mode where you are just immersed in the task of the day. You forget the big why. The task of the day gives you headache, and then you forget the big why. No, learn to reconnect to the original why. Why did you start it? Then we talked about this yesterday. Learn to embrace the small scale wins. Very extremely important. Just go back an episode back, episode number 2100, and listen to that. Now, I want to share something that you already know, but it's very extremely powerful, but it's very short. It's going to take us a little time, and then we're going to call this a day. The sixth thing that I'm going to invite you to do is communal based. It is to rebuild your inner circle. If you look at the life of Jesus Christ, he had an inner circle, then he had the 12, then he had the 70, and then he had the 3,000, and so on and so forth. He entrusted himself to the inner circle. When he is at the most pressing moment of his life, where he is facing the cross, he takes the inner circle and confides with them. He tells them something he's never told another human being. He tells them that he is exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. Now, sometimes when you get into a purpose slump, you don't need to go onto Facebook or YouTube and tell everyone. I see people normally getting into that. Some socialites, of course, they do that for the likes and for the traffic and for the content. They call themselves digital creator. They say, "Oh, my car has been repossessed. Pray with me." They're telling the world, and half of the world that they're telling the car has been repossessed do not have a clue of where they're going to get food from that particular day. No, I'm not talking about that kind of a thing. I'm talking about there are some people that you can confide in. There's some people that you can talk to. Loneliness for a leader and a visionary is a given. But you do not have to impose this loneliness on you. There are some few people that you can approach that understand you. They are not going to judge you. They are for you. They want you to succeed. Billy Graham had such like guys. And, he will talk to them. The inner circle, will talk to them. They are trusted 2 or 3 people. You tell them the honest truth. It so much helps when you unburden yourself to some people and tell them, I feel like these public speaking seminars I'm doing, I don't feel like continuing with this thing. I feel overwhelmed. Just be honest with them. Bring vulnerability to a mentor, to a peer, or a few people, and ask them for specific help. Some people normally say, "Pray with me, hold me accountable." I know of people who say, "My marriage is on the rocks. I do not know what I'm going to do. I can easily commit sin, and I want you to help me." You're going back to the community. As far as your purpose is concerned, you're rebuilding this tiny community of people, these people you can be vulnerable with, and you talk to them. And there is a lot of power in communicating that way. There is a lot of power in communicating to a few people, because sometimes when you are alone, you don't see the big picture. Sometimes when you are alone, you are subjective in the way you are interpreting, and let me even say misinterpreting the season that you are at. Probably maybe you're not misinterpreting it. Maybe whatever interpretation you're giving is true, but you're so depleted of your own inspiration, so depleted of your own motivation, so depleted sometimes even of the bigger picture. And you don't have feedback from an outside force that can tell you, "Hey, listen, Lawrence, do you know there are a million people?" I watched a movie. Let me finish with this. I watched a movie. It's a very powerful one. I should have started this story. I watched a movie called Rudy. I think Rudy was shot in 1993. It's a true life story about a guy called Rudy who wanted to play for the Notre Dame football team. And he was laughed at and so on and so forth, and he was just so determined. When he lost his friend died. It is when his dream was reignited, and he went and he did everything there was to do, even with this tiny frame, and he got into that football team. And for 2 years in that football team, in fact, just getting into Notre Dame itself was a miracle. Getting into the football team was another mega miracle. But then for 2 years, he will never get to wear the jersey, never get onto the list. He gave up. He just gave up. And he found a guy whom he's been confiding on the dream that he had. And he told him, I'm not. In fact, he told him, when I wear the jersey, I want you to come and watch me. And so he told this guy, I'm not going to wear the jersey anymore. I've given up. Only to find out that guy also did the exact same thing. He also gave up, and he had been bashing himself since that day when he gave up. And so he told him, go back there, bro. You have come so far. You are already a walking miracle. You will beat yourself if you do not complete this course. CAUSE. And so this man goes back because he listened to a man who gave him a different perspective. And I will encourage you to go and watch Rudy as a movie. Powerful stuff. I mean, tear-jerking stuff for some of us who are a bit sensitive. So the point is that when you are in a purpose slump, find some people. In fact, you should be having people in your life that you can be able to confide with. If you don't have anybody that you can confide with, let me tell you, I said this in the series before, counseling is not just for marriages. Let us make it normal for you to go for counseling when your startup fails, when your purpose comes to a slump, right? If you don't have anybody you're going to talk to, at least go for a professional. Pay a professional, someone. Listen to someone professional to listen to you, to guide you, to heal you, to put some things into perspective. All right, these have been good for today. So we're going to continue with the healing process in the day that is going to happen tomorrow. Until then, I wish you all the success that you're willing to work for. Bye-bye and God bless you.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.